Sampson is a funny guy.
Don't you eat big sticks?
He always has us laughing.
Growing up, Sampson was a hoot, kind of a goofball.
Lights up the room, always cracks everyone up.
He's always been very athletic.
Captain of his football team, took him to state during his junior year.
Growing up as the older sister, I tended to be the one to come up with the ideas of making him do these horrible things. Not horrible as in awful, but horrible as in he's the little brother of two big sisters. So we oftentimes would strap him down and make him watch girly chick flicks. We'd dress him up, we'd paint his nails. And he was such a trooper. He turned out great.
Graduating class of 2015.
I was really looking forward to going to Colorado State University. Life was great for him.
The night prior, he had actually had 3 or 4 buddies sleep over. And I heard the boys coming up the stairs and offered them a quick cinnamon roll, and, you know, out they went. Sampson was the last one out, and he said, "Bye, Mom, love ya, I'll see you for dinner."
He was working on the roof of the building, and they were pulling up tar paper, old 4x4s. And Sampson was about 3 or 4 feet from the edge, and he was pulling on a 4x4 that was stuck, and it snapped. He took 2 steps backwards and flipped over head first and landed on concrete from 30 feet.
The original call came in as an 18-year-old male has fallen from the roof approximately 30 feet. And that's all we get. Got on scene and saw him from the view of the windshield. That's when I thought, this kid's not gonna make it. That kid's dead.
It was a little after 9 o'clock, and I started getting phone calls. First message I got was from the principal at the school, and telling me that Sampson had a bad accident. He had fallen off the roof of the building.
I asked him how bad it was, and he said, "Jana, it's really, really bad. You need to get to the ER as soon as possible."
When I get to the ER, I'm the last one of family that's in the room. And I see somebody I don't know, and it ends up being a chaplain. It's life or death right now.
Time stopped, and things were moving minute by minute.
It wasn't that long, maybe 100 feet from the waiting room to the entrance to his room. It seemed like the longest walk in the world of not knowing what we're about to see. That was probably the most difficult thing for me that I've ever had to endure.
I remember thinking, this can't be happening. This isn't our son.
The only thing that looked like Sampson was his hair. I couldn't identify his face.
On the day that he arrived in ICU, the organ donor bank had to be notified. On the second day that Sampson was in ICU, he still had not had his first surgery. It was a Tuesday, and on Tuesdays at the time, Dr. Weintraub would make rounds at Littleton Adventist Hospital. So we actually met Dr. Weintraub on Sampson's second day.
Dr. Weintraub told us after looking at Sampson, looking at his chart, he goes, "I have a place for him."
When Sampson first came in, he didn't know where he was. He didn't know that he was in the hospital.
I told my dad it was a concussion, I'd take a week off and I'd be fine. My dad said, "It's probably a little worse than that, Sampson. It's probably gonna be longer than 1 week." I was like, okay, maybe 2 max.
He would ask his techs and his therapist on a daily basis when he was going to get to come home.
Is when I had a meeting with all my therapists, Dr. Barry, my psychologist, Dr. Weintraub, my head physician, and in that meeting, we were gonna decide the date, how long I'd be at Craig Hospital. And when I discovered that I'd be there for 6 more weeks, that's when it really hit me.
I was going floor to floor in the elevator, and the elevator opened, and Sampson's mom and dad were standing there. And she looked at me and she said, "Will I ever get my son back?"
I can truly say, arriving at Craig with our son, we knew that he would be taken care of. Even though we have a really strong and supportive family, we were broken. It wasn't just going to be Sampson that would need to recover, we would need to recover too.
From day one, my therapist as well as my parents kind of helped express to me we're going to take this day by day.
He would always come to therapy ready to work.
Yeah, I was very motivated, and I really trusted my therapist.
He had some high goals, and those are fantastic goals to have, but to get to a goal, it's one step at a time.
He was all in, whatever I need to do to get better, I'm willing to do it.
It was literally like these mini, well, they weren't many, they were really monumental graduations that were happening on a daily, weekly basis. Even if it was like I can make a piece of toast and spread some butter on it, just like that's normal, that feels normal. We were going to be focused on that minute, that day. We were going to celebrate the success.
Being able to be there with the physical therapist and the occupational therapist and watch as Sampson progressed was really incredible to see.
His speech and language therapist realized that Sampson was not a sit-around kind of guy, and so she gave him an assignment, and it was a rather large assignment.
So what we worked on were a lot of thinking, organizing, looking at priorities. So Sampson and I came up with an idea of a game drive. Games, cards, board games, puzzles, things that we can put on the traumatic brain injury floor. He had boxes that were decorated, very nice big boxes. He had flyers. I had games everywhere, over 100.
There were so many games and puzzles that were being sent from across the nation. DEBRA hit spot on, and that really increased his confidence.
Today, I will walk down 3 West and there's a huge table with maybe a 1,000-piece puzzle, and there's always somebody working there.
What a crazy circumstance for my specialty over the last 30 years to be fall protection. And then a friend of the family takes a fall and has a near-death experience. Sampson's story has changed me and our whole business. It was kind of a tough time for him because it's right when all his schoolmates went back to school and they went to college and he couldn't go. And I said, would you be willing to share your story?
June 15th, 2015, the day of my accident. So prior to that, I had just graduated high school. And you can see some he asked if I would tell my story to construction industrial companies to promote safety. I said, yeah, sure, like, that's nothing, you know? They sit on the chaplain before they could see me, and that's when the chaplain told them it might be time to say goodbye to your son.
These demonstrations are the most powerful way to train a worker. He told his story to over 600 people with us on the road.
At CSU, I'm studying business marketing. I love CSU just because it has a good college feel to it. Not too wild, not too small. I'm in a fraternity up there and I really enjoy it. It was a way for me to find a good community. One thing that's kind of like started my fire for marketing is to pursue selling safety equipment because of my accident.
Sampson's not just making it through school, like he's crushing it, like he's doing great, but you know, he has had to make some adjustments and kind of know his body and know his limits.
That's what he was really fearful of the most, is can I really do this? Can I balance this with my mental fatigue that I struggle with and trying to manage the course requirements of all that comes with it, and he's done an amazing job of balancing all of that.
To have gone from not knowing if he was going to make it to seeing him not just survive, but thrive.
I feel blessed to work here, that I was one of the chosen that work here. I get to do what I do best. I drive an hour and 10 minutes in Denver traffic, God forbid, to work here when I have a hospital 20 minutes from my house. I tell everybody this is the best place to work.
We're so grateful that there's a place like Craig that Sampson was able to go to.
The donors here at Craig do phenomenal work, and here I go, I'm gonna start crying again. I don't think they see what a difference they make when somebody doesn't have money for a wheelchair because dad was the primary breadwinner, mom stayed at home and raised their kids, and suddenly dad's in an accident and that income isn't coming in, but the bills continue to come in. So when they're worried about paying their mortgage or paying their bills, Craig steps up.
Craig is a gift.
I thought it was going to be a bad day. I really did. And it turned out to be one of my best days I've ever had.
Through proper therapy at Craig Hospital and inpatient, outpatient, here I am today.